The whisper behind the window. The wind had been cruel for days, scraping against the wooden walls of the abandoned cabin as if trying to claw its way in. Night had fallen heavily over the desert, and in the quiet darkness, Mara sat with her back pressed against the cold wall, listening to the faint crackle of a dying fire. She wasn't alone. Elias, the man who had saved her from the outlaws chasing her, was sitting only a few feet away, sharpening a knife that had clearly seen too many winters. But tonight, something felt different. For the past hour, the wind had carried a strange rhythm, soft, broken, and almost like a whisper. Whenever it moved across the cracked window, Mara felt a sharp sting of fear crawl up her spine. "Do you hear that?" she finally whispered. Elias paused, his knife hovering above the whetstone. "I hear the wind," he replied without looking up. "It's not just wind." Mara shifted closer, lowering her voice. "It keeps saying something. I swear it's whispering my name." Elias lifted his head at that. His dark eyes flickered toward the window. The glass was shattered long ago, leaving only angled shards that clung stubbornly to the frame. Beyond it, the desert stretched out endlessly, quiet, empty, dead. "No one knows we're here," he said. "Whatever you're hearing isn't human." Mara swallowed. "That's what scares me." The whisper came again, soft, dragging, almost pleading. "Mara." She froze. Elias stood instantly, his hand dropping to the revolver at his hip. The fire flickered violently, sending long shadows crawling across the room. "Stay behind me," he ordered. But Mara didn't move. She felt pulled toward the window, as if something beyond it was calling out to her alone. She stepped closer until she could see her reflection in the glass, pale, tired, frightened. And behind her reflection, a shape. A tall, thin silhouette stood in the desert, motionless, watching. Mara gasped. Elias instantly grabbed her arm and yanked her back just as a cold gust burst through the window frame. "Get away from there," he snapped. But the whisper kept coming. "Let me in." Elias fired his revolver once through the window. The gunshot exploded in the small cabin. Mara ducked and covered her ears, but the silhouette did not move. It did not fall. It simply stood there, staring. "Elias," her voice trembled, "you hit it." "No," he said, jaw tight. "I didn't." The silhouette slowly tilted its head, an unnatural, jerking motion that sent a chill through them both. And then, without warning, it vanished into thin air. The night fell silent. Elias moved cautiously, lighting a lantern. "We're leaving at first light," he said. "Whatever that was, it wasn't meant to find us." But Mara wasn't sure they would even make it to morning. Hours later, when the fire died completely, the whisper returned, this time right behind her ear. "I found you." Mara screamed as the shadow appeared inside the cabin, stretching up the wall like a living darkness. Elias fired again, but the bullets passed straight through it, embedding into the wood. The shadow lunged. Mara and Elias ran through the back door into the freezing desert night, breath burning in their lungs as the whisper followed them relentlessly. The shadow glided, not walked, closing the distance faster than any man could. They climbed a rocky ridge, hiding behind a boulder. Elias held Mara close, his breath shaking. "Mara," he whispered, that whisper wasn't calling your name. She looked up at him in confusion. "It was warning you." Her heartbeat hammered. "Warning me about what?" Elias looked over the boulder, eyes widening. "That thing, it wasn't saying, Mara. It was saying." The wind howled suddenly, and the shadow rose behind them. Towering, swallowing the stars. "Mirror." Before Mara could scream, the world turned black. And the whisper, cold and ancient, lingered in the emptiness around her. "I only come, for those who look."